Declan Rice has changed his agent, and that's why this particular set of transfer rumours in this current transfer window is set to be slightly different from the ones that have preceded it. Why? Because changing your agent signifies intent. Not necessarily bad intent, by the way, but intent. The intent might be to leave. The intent might be to sign a new contract. Well, let's be fair, only one of three things can happen. He either leaves, he either stays and signs a new contract, or he stays and doesn't sign a new contract, which I actually think that's the most likely of the three. Why should he need to? I don't get the impression he's overly money motivated, and in case you haven't found out yet, the real bombshell is that his new agent is his father, which I think, take the West Ham spectacles off, is a fantastic move. I don't know why more professional footballers do it. I heard that Jude Bellingham, when he left Birmingham City, went to Borussia Dortmund, his father acted as his agent. You're going to have nobody in life with your best interests at heart more than your dad. It's as simple as that. If you're going to give anyone 5% or 10% or a finder's fee or however they get paid, why not give it to your father? Why not keep the money in the family? It makes perfect sense. And let's be fair, Declan is a strong-minded, intelligent individual. Clearly, we can see by the decisions he's made in the past, he knows what he's doing, he knows where he's going, and from what I hear, they're a very, very stable, very balanced family. It all makes complete sense. What does it mean for West Ham? Well, actually, we don't know, but it's interesting that a whole new round of rumours cropped up exactly at the same time that he changed his agent to his father. Manchester United are rumoured to be back interested again. Again, I would expect these stories to come up, but it's different now. There's a slightly different slant to it. There's a slightly different connotation. Chelsea are back in and interested again, apparently. And our owners have sort of let it be known by carrier pigeon, let's say, that they wouldn't accept less than 100 million. So, we've got a change of agent, we've got a price, and we've got interested clubs. It's a pretty damn bad mix for West Ham United, it has to be said. What we're dealing with here at the moment is something not quite unprecedented, but something we've not dealt with at West Ham for quite a few years. He's the best player in terms of a saleable asset we've had probably since Rio Ferdinand. What would Rio command now in today's market? At that sort of age, at 21, 22, as good as Rio was, net, I mean, you'd be looking at more than Van Dijk money, certainly. Look, just went and won everything, didn't he, in the club game, and he was absolutely brilliant. And the crazy thing about Rio is, by the way, I don't think he ever reached his potential. I think he was so good at marauding forward, so good at bringing the ball out from the back, that I think he had his wings clipped a little bit at Manchester United. Heresy to say so, and he had a very good career, and he'll look back at his trophies and he'll think, okay, he did well. But I think him and Joe Cole were more naturally gifted than they were allowed to be. I thought they were constrained on the pitch. Anyway, we're not talking about those guys. My point is, Declan Rice is in that fold. He is a future world-class star. He is already a regular for England, which actually Rio wasn't when he left West Ham. And I look at it and I think things have changed for Declan now, and I think things have changed for West Ham. Let's get on to Declan first. Well, before I do, things change about West Ham. We're not relegation candidates. So we don't have to be as fearful as we were. Actually, we're all right. What's changed for Declan is, well, when it was first suggested that some of these clubs might be interested in him, they scoffed, they looked a little bit, and, you know, they would say Manchester City didn't need him. Manchester City already had better players in central midfield who could do that tackling and do that role better than Declan Rice. I'm not sure that they do. I'm really not. I'm not sure that Fernandinho, does he play much anymore? I don't know. I've not seen much of him. He certainly couldn't play a full season with the high intensity and high energy of Declan Rice. The fella they got in, the one that fouls everyone from Atletico Madrid, I don't think he's better than Declan Rice. Manchester United apparently didn't need him. Why do we need him? We got Scott McTominay. I tell you, Declan Rice twice as good as Scott McTominay. Matic, he's better than Matic. Pogba, don't even get me started. Slightly different players. Paul Pogba is more offensive than Declan Rice, and I mean that in both definitions of the word. What about Liverpool? What about Liverpool? Okay, well, Liverpool, they might say that Fabinho is better than Declan Rice. Don't think he is. Don't think he is. Don't think he's as energetic. Don't think he's as marauding. Don't think he's as versatile. Don't think he offers what Declan does. So what the reason that that's changed is now teams would be interested in him. Now actually he improves Manchester City. Now he improves Manchester United. Now he improves Liverpool. So they're going to cast envious glances at him. I would suggest now he's improved that much that even a team like Tottenham probably can't afford him. A lot of fuss was made when, was it Arsenal signed the guy, was it Partey, something like that, signed him from Atletico Madrid? Big player, good player, decent player. I'm not saying he's not, man, he's good as Declan Rice. And this is the situation we find ourselves in. You get the impression, well I do at least, that he's one of the first names on Gareth Southgate's team sheet. I think Gareth sees a lot of himself in Declan. Converted centre-half, playing in central midfield. He's got an awful lot to offer the national team. And he's only going to get better and better. And we can see this improvement. Over time at West Ham, we see it incrementally. He's always been able to tackle. He's always been able to read the ball well. He's got that fantastic ability, though, when he intercepts or when he tackles, to come away with the ball. It sounds so simple, right? It sounds so simple. How many players go in for the tackle and the ball ricochets off? Well, that's fine. It still breaks up an attack. That's fine. But that extra bit of class, and a couple of people, and I don't wish to put too much pressure on him, but a couple of people mentioned Bobby Moore, and I'm obviously aware the majority of people that watch this channel didn't ever see Bobby Moore play. I didn't see Bobby Moore play, but my old man did. And I've seen enough footage. I know about Bobby Moore. Bobby Moore wouldn't always need to tackle. Bobby Moore would read the game, so he would just get the ball and he would intercept the ball and he would just take the ball. Go and look at the 1966 World Cup final. You'll see exactly what I mean. Also, he would time the tackle, and he would often tackle just with one foot, and he would not only come away, having won the tackle, he'd come away with the ball. And then he'd start moving up the pitch. It's what Declan Rice does. He's always had good tackling technique. I think his heading has got better, as can be seen. I was going to say the England game, but he might have knocked him over his shoulder. Even his shouldering has got better, by the way. You saw it with a flick on for Souček's goal a couple of games ago. Really good. I think he's been working on his sprinting. I think that's evident. I think that's clear to see. Something Harry Redknapp always spoke about, and it was first thing he did for was Frank Lampard Senior. First thing him and Harry did for Frank Lampard Junior was got him some athletic spikes. Got him some spikes. A lot of people scoff at that, but there is a reason athletes wear spikes. It's because it's the correct footwear and you can work on your sprints. And he got quicker because of it. And they did the same with Harry Kane. I get the impression that Declan Rice has been working on his sprinting. He looks a little bit quicker than he did. He's never going to be electric. He's never going to be a Bamiyang, but he's quick enough. His passing is improving all the time. All the time. It's not unusual. It's not unusual. Anyway, I shouldn't have done that, really. I don't even know why I did that. I'm tempted to edit it out, but I probably won't. I just can't be bothered to repeat the last 8 minutes of talking. It's not unusual. It's not unusual for Declan Rice to have played, sometimes at West Ham, the most creative pass during the game. It's a relatively new thing to see, but it's getting really good. I'm talking about the slide rule pass, the incisive pass. But now he's switching the play regularly from right to left. The 30-yard Hollywood pass, the David Beckham pass, we're seeing that. He's taking shots, having at least a shot a game now. Even seen him line up for a free kick. Fancies a free kick. The footage is coming through. Actually, to be fair, I was going to say the footage is coming through from the training ground. We've always seen that footage. Scores goals. Good training ground player. We've seen a lot of good training ground players. Felipe Anderson, fantastic training ground player. Just can't do it at the stadium. But that is where I think there's nothing to do with talent, nothing to do with how skillful your feet are. That's when it comes into sort of mental fortitude, and it's something that Declan has got in abundance. And you look at all the facets of his team, and I left one out, which is his dribbling, carrying the ball forward, carrying the ball between players, moves opposition teams about. Oh, everyone's got a plan. What's that Mike Tyson said? Everyone's got a plan, and so they get punched in the face. And in terms of tactics, well, every opposition have got a plan of who to mark. Well, that's all very well and good, but at the moment someone's been dribbled past, then you create a 2-on-1. And Declan Rice is starting to do that from the middle of the park. He's becoming the complete midfielder. I'm talking him up here. Should be talking him down, really. Don't want him to go. Desperately don't want him to go. But he's that good that he's become that attractive to a lot of other clubs. And I think there's a slight worry in that. But I don't worry about the change of agent. I worry about that less, because I think they'll do the right thing. A lot is made of his father being a Chelsea fan. Well, Declan's a Chelsea fan. Declan was at Chelsea. That can go both ways. It depends how Declan looks at that going back to Chelsea. I'm pretty sure he'll make the right decision for himself and not make an emotional one, because the emotional one is either twofold. You either go back to prove them wrong, say, see, told you so, or you're bitter and you make an emotional decision, say, I'm not going back, you let me go, you should never have done that, I'm going to prove you wrong, but I'll do it at another club. I don't get the impression they'll do that. I think if the best offer on the table is Chelsea, then that's what they'll do. But here's where we come into it, and here's where West Ham come into it. There's an opportunity here for us. I don't particularly want to spend too much time thinking or talking or even doing videos about who we would get in to replace Declan Rice, as I just don't particularly want to think about it. I think it's a cup half empty way of thinking about things. I want to look at it in the cup half full way. And the cup half full way is this is now an opportunity for us to improve the team. When I say improve the team, we are a top half team. I think that is fair to say without being derided for saying it. I think there's some people who say, well, actually, we may well be a top 7 team or whatever, but let's just go with top 10. What do we need to do to make that next step up? Well, number 1 is to keep Declan Rice. Number 2 is to put, and I would say, another at least 2 really good players in and around him. There's no guarantee we're buying players, by the way. I've already mentioned a lot of players at other clubs already in this video who teams have paid big money for, and they haven't really worked out. Arsenal spent money. Not all of their signings have come off. So the scouting and the recruitment is important. But I just feel at the moment, if we were to spend 70 odd million, 35 million on 2 players, and I'm not talking about Ben Rama. When I say this, I don't mean Ben Rama as the player, because Ben Rama is a very, very skillful player who is good enough to be in our first team. The example I'm giving of Ben Rama is spending, I haven't spent the money yet, but when the deal goes through, spending £25-30 million on a player for the bench. I don't want us to do that at all. What I want us to do is buy 2 players and improve the first team instantly. I don't know, you can split that money how you want. By the way, you want to spend 50 million on a striker and 20 million on a fullback, that's fine. But I think our board now need to say, do you know what? We're going to keep Declan Rice. We're going to convince him that he's going to stay. I think it's fair to say that Declan Rice's football is progressing rather nicely under David Moyes. I think clearly there's a really good vibe around the training ground. You can see that in the way that they celebrate. You can see that in their demeanour. He's got the captain's armband and he's making a bloody good fist of it, isn't he? You know, he looks every inch the leader. I think if he's not there already, and I'm not talking about the twisty-turny ones, I'm not talking about Kevin De Bruyne, I'm talking to people that do the job that Declan does, I already think he's probably the best in the league. I know you're all screaming Kante at me and this, that and the other. If Kante was that brilliant, they wouldn't be so desperate to get Declan Rice in. I do think they're desperate to get Declan Rice in. And Frank Lampard's been saying some very nice things about him the last couple of days. But I do think it's an opportunity for West Ham to improve the team, to say to Declan, you've improved under here, we've improved, we're moving up the league, we're going to continue to improve, we're going to bring in another 2 international players, and we're going to improve the team. And to actually say to Declan, I know we're trying to ready a new contract. Apparently we're trying to ready a new contract for him. By all means, offer him the contract. He may not accept it. I would suspect he won't. But actually, at least to say to Declan, give us another year. There's a contract on the table. If you want to sign that at any point, you can do. That's there. We'll give you competitive terms that would that would match your status in the game, your improved status in the game. What I would say is, give us a chance to prove that you're going to sign that new contract. And what we'll do is we will sign new players. Clearly get on with the manager, get on with the coaching staff. We're going to keep improving. Give us a year to prove to you that actually we can move up and we can become a better player. He's got youth on his side. Declan Rice is not a 27-year-old player. He often gets compared with Calvin Phillips. Now, Calvin Phillips is not 27 by all means, but I think he's 2 or 3 years younger than Calvin Phillips. He's got a lot of time on his side. Doesn't have to move to a Champions League club now. Will he? I don't know. As I say, there's only one of 3 things going to happen. He's either going to leave, he's either going to stay and sign a new contract, or he's going to say, I'm not going to keep my powder dry. I'm going to stay, but I'm not signing any new contract yet. Whatever happens, it is going to be very, very interesting indeed.